an urgent application brought to the North Gauteng High Court by Zimbabwean Exemption Permit holders was not heard on an urgent basis today. Instead, ZEP holders will have to wait until the matter can be heard to know whether or not they have a case against the Minister of Home Affairs. Their stay in this country depends on that. Advocate Simba Chitando, who represents Zimbabwean Exemption Permit holders, joins us now for more on this. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Chitando, and thank you for your time today. Why is it that you collectively decided to submit this application on an urgent basis, and what were the reasons why it was dismissed?
Thank you. Good afternoon to your viewers. Correction. No case was dismissed on Tuesday. Very important. I have been seeing quite a lot of false news. Not the first time that this matter has attracted false news because of the technical nature of the litigation that is taking place in the ZEP matter has confused many people in the public, and a lot of media platforms have been then repeating this false news. So what I would like to do firstly is factually set out what actually happened. As you know, there was a previous urgent case that dealt with a directive that ZEP holders had to have a application for a mainstream visa before 31 December, which is tomorrow. And if not, they would lose their bank accounts and have their employment terminated. We successfully challenged that. The minister withdrew the directive on the 13th of December, a couple of weeks ago. What happened on Tuesday is an urgent application to deal with the issue of the grace period. We have anticipated and have evidence of the fact that many ZEP holders, as we are speaking, traveling between the various countries, some going to Botswana, some going, as you know, it's a festive break, and others are, are truck drivers. They're being given visitors' visas and not the 12-month grace period. And we've gone to court to challenge that. The Minister of Home Affairs has said that, or Cabinet also said rather, on the 24th of November 2021, that ZEP holders would get a 12-month grace period. They have been cheated out of that 12-month grace period. The Minister gave an interview, various platforms, saying that, look, take my word for it, they will get ZEP holders 12 months grace period, which is not happening. We've gone to urgent court. The matter did not proceed on Tuesday because the minister's lawyer said they were not served and various other technical reasons. It was not heard. It wasn't a situation where it was dismissed. No application, at least that I was involved with, as you rightly said, I'm leading the litigation on for several ZEP holders, but not all of them. I think there might be a few other ZEP holders who might have approached the court that I'm not aware of. And if their applications were dismissed, that would be news to me. But the case that I'm involved in, there's been no dismissal. There is no order dismissing any ZEP case. It's important.
It is indeed a very important distinction and an important issue for you to clarify. What our understanding from the papers that we have seen is that this case was struck off the roll so that it is no longer heard as an urgent case, that it will be scheduled onto the court roll, but not urgently. I believe this was filed on Christmas Eve, that particular application to the High Court.
That was not my application.
That was not your...
No.
All right, I think that's very important because we've actually just spoken now to the Minister of Home Affairs, who was speaking directly about that. So we certainly will be going back and getting more clarity regarding exactly what is happening with whom regarding this particular issue. So if that is the case and that is not your application, how many of these cases are actually being presented to the High Court regarding the Zimbabwean exemption permits? Is there not maybe one specific body that's dealing with this issue on behalf of the Zimbabweans who are holding these permits?
That's a very good question. There have been several meetings during the course of the week from various leaders in the ZEP community. The thrust, the main, for lack of a better word or term, the main case has been led by the team that I'm representing. That case was not struck off the roll. I believe that another one might have been, and I think I think it was heard after mine, but from what I understand, it has not been their case might have been struck off the roll, but ours has not. We are going back to court, and specifically to deal with that urgent issue, which is the fact that the 12-month grace period for ZEP holders has been stolen from them. It has been denied by Home Affairs officials at the border. There may be, and we know this in the past, if those people, litigators that do many Home Affairs matters, that there's a disconnect between what the minister says and what his officials at border posts and at airports actually do. This is a technical matter for the public and also for the Home Affairs officials. And that is what has taken place here. We have got a case where we need to go to court, and we are before court on an urgent basis.
So let's talk then about the case that you're dealing with. How long is the visitor's visa that those who used to hold the Zimbabwean Exemption Permit are now getting at the border? How long are they being given to stay in the country?
Very good question. Thank you for asking. I have some truck drivers who say they've been given 3 months. Others are saying they've been given 30 days. So what we have is a situation where they've been denied or been deprived of 11 months and or 7, 8 months in some cases of their grace period. In fact, they don't have a grace period. To be more specific, they don't have a grace period, and that is the difficulty. And I've said this before, the Department of Home Affairs has collapsed. We know that. It collapsed before ZEP. They told us. They told us because they got an independent body to do an audit on their collapse. That body includes various advocates similar to myself who are looking into that issue. So we have a crisis. We foresaw the crisis, and the minister went ahead. Cabinet made its decision on the 24th, knowing that this, or reasonably could have foreseen that this was going to take place. And we are where we are. There is no grace period for ZEP.
So where then, Mr. Chitando, does your case stand? Because as it stands now, as you're saying, those who used to hold this passport now are being given 30 days, sometimes 3 months. What then is the way ahead regarding this, specifically considering the fact that in a couple of days' time, that will be the official expiration date for the Zimbabwean exemption permits?
Thank you. That's a great question. Where we are is urgent court in the next few days. And then during the course of the year, we're going to be challenging the minister to get ZEP holders permanent residency. We also stand in hope that civil society and human rights organizations would persuade the cabinet, our neighboring country's cabinet, to reverse this draconian decision, which, from the facts, they just simply can't meet their own decision. They can't comply with their own decision.
Advocate Simba Chitando, thank you very much for your update there. He is one of the lawyers representing seemingly one of the groups that hold the Zimbabwean exemption permits. What has been quite clear from the conversation that we've had with him now is the fact that there are different groups who are being represented, and the case that we're speaking about to the minister earlier on is one regarding the validity and one that questions whether or not the minister can actually withdraw those Zimbabwean exemption permits. That is not the case with this one, which is also another urgent application, but this one pertains those who are holders of the Zimbabwean exemption permit who are now not given that one-year extension, that grace period that the minister was talking about, but instead are being given 30 days and sometimes even 3 months at the border post. That one also, he says, will be going into the courts. We'll certainly be keeping you abreast on developments there.